I'm gonna go triple check in the same way I would if I lost my keys, if I lost anything, if Sookie was missing, if Lester was missing, I would go look for every possible clue. So I'm gonna go do it again. I don't know. So something happened. And I'm embarrassed because this shows weakness, and telling you about a weakness makes me really vulnerable. It makes us really vulnerable. Yesterday was Saturday, and yesterday had so much in it that was unexpected. It has led to a breakdown in our sanctuary. A breakdown in communication between Lester and I, and just an overall weakness. So yesterday morning, I did the normal Saturday morning routine. I got up, I started scrubbing water troughs, I checked on animals, and Lester was in the front and I was in the back. And we flipped spaces, and I went to do water up front. He's checking all the gates in the back, and then we had to run Lex to his mom's house. Well, that drive ended up being about 4 hours due to traffic. Fine, totally fine. When we got back, we did the rest of our normal routine, which is go out and do a few projects, a few cleanup, and by that time it was time to feed animals. Now, the surprise of that afternoon is that somebody from Lester's work stopped by. Hi, Danny. And in that stop by, of course, they wanted to be outside because the weather was beautiful, and you know, they wanted to watch us feed up, which was fine, except for it was full of chaos and the animals were not themselves. And with that happening, we have to separate animals and separate pastures, and just, you know, you're out of sorts, so our communication was not as good as it normally is. I thought Lester did a head count yesterday morning. I also assumed that if something was wrong, he would tell me, and the bad part is that he assumed that I did the head count, and he assumed that if something was wrong, I would tell him. Neither of which happened. And Carl's coming over here to see me. So it's Sunday morning, and I've just gotten home from the gym. And as I pull up, here's the littles already out here on the berm to greet me. Annie is doing something really strange and out of character. I'll show you that here in a second. Hello, babies. Just coming home from my workout at the gym this morning, and I see that we are having a full-blown arena up here of goat fun, and Annie is overseeing it all. But I don't know what Annie's watching out for here. She's kind of parked looking down the driveway, almost like she was waiting for me to come home. But as I'm counting the animals as they come up and I'm looking, Brady's still not here. Now I'm concerned. So I get out of the car, I run inside and tell Lester, like, something's wrong. I still don't see Brady. And now that I'm like replaying yesterday's stuff, I'm like, did you really see him yesterday? Did I really see him yesterday? Like, everything's in question. And when you're moving fast and you're doing things fast around here, and there's a lot of chaos and just a lot going on, sometimes you start to question, was that today or yesterday? And I know that y'all are judging right now and thinking like, you can't even keep track of XYZ. I'm here to tell you that there are probably times in your life where you probably couldn't remember if what happened was really today or yesterday or the day before as well. It happens. We're human. So I'm now at a point where I've walked all the pastures, I've closed gates, I've counted heads, and I know Brady's missing. There's some weird parts to this that don't make sense to me yet, And I'm going to take you with me as I go try to search and hope for some answers. But like, okay, step one, if Brady gets out, the same with the rest of our goats, nobody leaves. He loves to be in the feed room. They all love to be in the feed room. That's like the number one place. And I've already checked there. The other part is if a predator came in, I mean, Carl, Annie, Ernie, all of them, Pig Newton, Pig Trudy, they would all be all over that. So that doesn't make sense. And Brady's big, like really big. He's the biggest goat that we have. So that doesn't make sense. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing, no damage to any fence line that I can see. I'm going to drive around and check again to be sure. I'm perplexed right now, and it's not fully making sense yet. And I don't know. Let's go take a look. This is a problem. Now, this is the gate. Hey, Carl. This is the gate behind the church. Now, it's Sunday and church is about to start, so this also makes no sense. But this gate is open. It's not open enough, really, for anyone to truly leave, but the concern here is that it is latched, but it's pushed inward. Animals don't push the gate in inward. If an animal was coming, it would come out towards me. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, not even a little bit. Something is fishy right here. I don't like it. All right. We're going to put this back together here. See, like, this should be connected. There should be no reason that should be open. I don't know what to say about it, but I'm going to go keep checking. The thing is there's no track marks or I don't know. I'm looking for any clue whatsoever, Carl. And I also will say this. I've not seen Carl like hang out here. Now he might be hanging out here because I'm here. But Carl doesn't like come this far back in the pasture without reason. And we've put up signs everywhere. I know you all know this about private property and no feeding the animals. And we put them up in Spanish and in English. Because we've had issues. But I do not like anyone going in this pasture for any reason, not just for our animals' sake, for their own sake. I don't know what Carl's gonna do to them. This is I'm speechless right now. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to show Lester that. I've just checked all of Uncle Raleigh's side of the pasture. I've checked every fence, and still the only minimal clue is that gate. And I mean, the last time I checked that gate was Wednesday. So there's too much of a time span to even know, because Wednesdays are church nights, and our concern is always somebody hitting a soccer ball or a volleyball over the fence and going in there to get it and being hurt by one of the animals. So we do our best to keep the animals locked up during church in the back, and we check everything before we let them back in. So the last time I checked was Wednesday night after church. It doesn't make sense to me. All right, I'm gonna go check up and down G and Pawpaw's lane and to ease my mind and to rule everything out. I'm gonna say something that's awful, but I can't get it off my mind. I've looked in the barns. I've looked everywhere possible of on the property. I climbed hay twice in the main hay barn and in the Littles barn. I've looked under things and in things, and there's just not that many places that 100+ pound goat could hide. My inner gut feeling has a horrible feeling, and it is related to that back gate. So Friday, Lester made a video about the neighborhood dogs and about how big of a problem that they are. And I can't help but wonder, did someone see that and get mad and think that they're gonna like teach us a lesson? Or did someone take him for food? Like, there's a lot of cultures that eat goat. Brady's the biggest and the healthiest one here. And as horrible as that sounds, he's really gentle, will walk up to anyone. Oh, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to think about this.
All right, so if I was a detective, I would say the only spot that looks like it's been tampered with or messed with is the gate by the church. You already talked about that?
I did, and I talked about how it was in versus out.
So an animal, if they push on a gate or whatever, if Carl had went to a gate, he would have pushed it out. But that gate, which actually drags the ground, so it had to be lifted and moved, was pushed in.
Yeah.
Which means probably more than likely someone at the church either kicked the soccer ball over the fence or the volleyball, and they ended up going that pasture to get it.
I hope that's why.
I don't think the gate was opened wide enough for any of the animals to get out, especially a big animal like Brady. We drove all around the back where we'd walk the pastures. From the outside, there's nothing pushed or pulled open. Everything's stapled nice and tight. So nothing has dug in, nothing has dug out. And so my worry, you look through the hay.
I looked through both hay. I looked through the hay in the Littles barn and in this barn.
So he hasn't been in our feed room. So my biggest worry is that if someone came by and just took
I
them.
don't understand it, and that's the only thing I can come up with as well. Just like you said, if we were detectives, I mean that's sadly where everything points to, because nothing else makes sense. And here we are. It's getting dark, and he's not going to run away.
Listen, it's not a predator.
No.
Everyone's going to go there first because we have had predators. I mean, Manny died from a predator attack. So, but that was last year.
I hate to say, like, to take all that hay out of each barn, but I don't know, like.
Well, we don't hear him in the hay.
No, I didn't hear a dang thing, and I pulled hay apart. And he's big. That's what doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's big.